Right now, today, there is a garage for sale in Notting Hill, London. Not a house, not a flat, not a studio the size of a cupboard, a garage, one room. Enough space for a car. The asking price is £295,000. And before you think that is some kind of outlier, a Basil Street garage in Chelsea is listed at £195,000. Earl's Court, £150,000. These are not houses. These are the places you park your car in London. In the same week those listings went live, you could buy a 4-bedroom detached house in Burnley for £160,000, a 4-bedroom semi in Hartlepool for under £200,000, a 4-bedroom home with a garden in Hull, a full family house with rooms and a kitchen and actual walls. For what London wants for a concrete box underneath someone's flat in SW3. If the numbers are not exaggerated, they are from the HM Land Registry, and on the market they are real. And the gap between them is the most honest thing anyone has said about the British property market in years. We are counting down 10 northern towns where that comparison is not a thought experiment. It is Tuesday, where the money that buys a parking space in London buys a life in the north. Subscribe. This is not a rant, it is a breakdown. And the number one entry at the end of this list has a statistic that will make every London renter genuinely furious. Let's go. Number 10. Barnsley, South Yorkshire. Barnsley sits in South Yorkshire between Sheffield and Leeds. Two cities that have both become expensive enough that buyers priced out of them are actively looking at Barnsley as the next logical step. The average house price across Barnsley, according to the ONS UK House Price Index for September 2025, is £171,000. The average across the whole of the UK for the same period is £272,000. You're already saving £101,000 before you have even looked at what that £171,000 actually buys. What £171,000 gets you in Barnsley? According to Rightmove's sold price data for Barnsley, detached properties sold for an average of around £280,000 in the last year, which means a 4-bedroom detached house sits within reach of the mid-£200,000. Semi-detached properties averaged £158,594. A 4-bedroom semi in a decent Barnsley postcode, Dodworth, Worsborough, Royston, regularly comes to market below £200,000. The garage in Notting Hill at £295,000 costs more than an entire 4-bedroom detached in parts of this borough. What Barnsley actually offers, a town in genuine transition. The town centre has undergone significant regeneration investment over the past decade. The Metrodome Leisure Complex, Oakwall Stadium, the Trans-Pennine Trail running through the borough. Real amenities, not wishful thinking. Sheffield is 12 miles south by car or by train in under 25 minutes. Leeds is 20 miles north. The M1 runs through the borough. The transport links are not theoretical. The catch, because there is always a catch, Barnsley's employment market is more limited than Sheffield's or Leeds. If you're not remote working or commuting, you're relying on local employers. The regeneration is real but ongoing. Some parts of the town centre still show the legacy of post-industrial decline. Anyone who tells you Barnsley is without its challenges is selling you something. But anyone who tells you that £200,000 does not buy a genuine family home here has not looked at Rightmove recently. Residents consistently describe the value proposition in consistent terms: good-sized houses, neighbours who know each other, short drives to two major cities, and a sense that the regeneration money is finally arriving after years of being promised. Number 9. Blackpool, Lancashire. Blackpool has a reputation problem. Ask anyone south of Birmingham, and the word Blackpool summons images of hen parties, amusement arcades, and rained-on promenades. That reputation is not entirely unfair, and this script is not going to pretend otherwise. But the reputation exists alongside a housing market that produces numbers so low they require a second read. The ONS UK House Price Index for November 2025 puts the average house price in Blackpool at £137,000. The cheapest London borough, Barking and Dagenham, averages £362,000. You could buy 2.5 average Blackpool houses for the price of one average property in the cheapest part of London. The 4-bedroom reality. According to Rightmove sold data, detached properties in Blackpool have sold for an average of £225,000 to £270,000 in the past year. 4-bedroom semi-detached houses on the better postcodes FY3, FY4, the residential areas away from the seafront, routinely come to market in the £150,000 to £200,000 range. The Notting Hill garage at £295,000 is still more expensive than most 4-bedroom family homes in this town. What the reputation obscures: Blackpool has 22 miles of coastline. It has the pleasure beach, the tower, the winter gardens, genuine cultural infrastructure built over 150 years. The South Shore and the residential areas behind the promenade are ordinary Lancashire towns that happen to be next to the sea. The tram runs the length of the Feed and Field coast. Preston is 18 miles away, Manchester is 50 miles, and the motorway network from the M55 connects to the national grid within minutes. The employment base is seasonal and limited, which is the structural challenge that makes everything else possible on the cheap. The honest advice for Blackpool: it rewards people who know what they are buying. If you are a remote worker, a retiree, or a self-employed person who does not need local employment, the value to lifestyle ratio is extraordinary. If you are relocating for a job, make sure the job is already secured before the house purchase. Property professionals in the Northwest consistently note that Blackpool's affordability draws buyers from Manchester and Preston who are priced out of their own cities and willing to commute or work remotely in exchange for houses that cost less than their former landlord's annual rental income. Number 8. Middlesbrough, Northeast. Middlesbrough is one of those towns that is easier to understand from the inside than from the outside. The ONS UK House Price Index for October 2025 records the average house price in Middlesbrough at £141,000, making it one of the cheapest places to buy property in England. That figure reflects the town's post-industrial economic reality, which has been genuinely difficult since the steel industry declined. It also means that a 4-bedroom house in Middlesbrough costs less than the deposit on a flat in many parts of London. The 4-bedroom arithmetic, Rightmove, sold data for Middlesbrough shows detached properties averaging around £240,000 to £280,000 in the past year, with semi-detached properties in the £140,000 to £180,000 range. A 4-bedroom semi in the better Middlesbrough residential areas, Marton, Linthorpe, Nunthorpe, is routinely available under £200,000. In the less premium parts of TS1 to TS5, 4-bedroom terraced properties have sold for well under £130,000. The Earl's Court Garage at £150,000 is actively competing with 4-bedroom family homes in this town. What Middlesbrough has going for it: the North York Moors National Park is 20 minutes away by car. The Yorkshire coast, Whitby, Saltburn, Redcar is within 30 to 45 minutes. The town has Teesside University, a significant NHS employer, and the £450 million Teamworks development on the former Redcar Steelworks site that is the largest regeneration project in Europe by land area. The job market is genuinely improving. In the cultural infrastructure includes the Middlesbrough Institute of Modern Art, which punches significantly above the town's weight in terms of its national and international program. The honest context: some parts of Middlesbrough have deprivation statistics that are among the most challenging in England. This is not hidden information, it is publicly available from the Office for National Statistics. The town is not uniformly challenging, and the better residential areas are genuinely good places to live. But buyers doing their research should look at specific postcodes rather than treating the average as representative of the entire borough. People who have relocated to Middlesbrough from more expensive parts of England consistently describe the same experience: the initial culture shock of the price differential, followed by the practical realization that owning a large family home for under £200,000 fundamentally changes the financial structure of your life. Number 7. Sunderland, Tyne and Wear. Sunderland was the shipbuilding capital of the world, not the shipbuilding capital of the Northeast, or of England, or of Britain, of the entire world at its peak in the late 19th and early 20th century. More ships were launched from the banks of the Wear than from any other place on earth. The industry that built that wealth is gone. What remains is a city of 280,000 people with a university, a coastline, a genuinely proud civic identity, and house prices that the ONS records at an average of £144,000 for November 2025. The 4-bedroom comparison: Rightmove sold data for Sunderland shows semi-detached properties averaging around £158,000 in the past year, with detached properties around £260,000 to £300,000. A 4-bedroom semi-detached house in Sunderland's residential areas, Clevedon, East Harrington, Silksworth, Ryhope, is regularly available in the £170,000 to £220,000 range. The Basil Street Chelsea garage at £195,000 is in direct competition with a 4-bedroom semi-detached family home with a garden in this city. The quality of life argument: Sunderland has Roker Beach and Seaburn Beach, two of the most underrated stretches of coastline in England, with golden sand and genuine surf on the right day. The Stadium of Light, the National Glass Centre, the University of Sunderland, which brings 20,000 students, and the economic activity that follows them. Newcastle is 12 miles north by metro, a direct, frequent, affordable connection to a major regional city with full urban amenities. The A19 and A1M connect the city to the national road network. The geography is not a disadvantage. Sunderland's honest challenge: the employment base contracted sharply when the shipyards, the mines, and the manufacturing sector all declined within the same generation, and it has not fully rebuilt. The Nissan plant at Washington is the largest single employer and is significant. The public sector is large. The private sector economy is growing, but from a lower base than comparable cities in other regions. Remote working has been genuinely transformative for Sunderland as a housing market because it decouples where you live from where the jobs are. Sunderland consistently appears in affordability analyses as one of the best value coastal cities in England. The combination of beach access, city infrastructure, metro connection to Newcastle, and house prices well below the national average produces a value proposition that is difficult to match anywhere else in England with comparable amenity levels. Number 6. Hull, East Yorkshire. Hull is one of the most misunderstood cities in England. It is also, according to the ONS UK House Price Index for October 2025, one of the cheapest, with an average house price of £133,000 across the city. That is the same price as the Earl's Court Garage, not cheaper than, the same. You can buy the average Hull property for what a leasehold parking space costs in SW5. The 4-bedroom reality in Hull: Rightmove sold data for Hull shows the majority of properties sold last year were terraced and semi-detached properties. Detached properties in Hull averaged around £240,000 to £260,000 in the past year. Semi-detached properties averaged around £160,000. 4-bedroom semi-detached houses in Hull's better residential postcodes: HU10 in Anlaby and Kirk Ella, HU5 in Avenues, HU6 in Bricknell regularly come to market at £180,000 to £220,000. Four-bedroom terraced properties in other areas can be found significantly below £150,000. The Cromwell Place Earl's Court garage at £150,000 costs more than the four-bedroom terraced house. Hull's remarkable cultural moment. Hull was UK City of Culture in 2017, and the investment and regeneration that accompanied that designation fundamentally changed parts of the city. The Humber Street Gallery, the reborn fruit market area with independent restaurants and cultural venues, the Deep Aquarium, which is genuinely world-class, the Humber Bridge, which is the world's 6th longest single-span suspension bridge and is free to pedestrians. Hull has more independent shops per capita than almost any other UK city. And it has a civic identity so strong that Hull residents will tell you about it unprompted within 10 minutes of meeting them. Hull's honest reality, it is geographically isolated. The Humber estuary to the south and the East Yorkshire wolds to the north mean that Hull is not on the way to anywhere. You go to Hull on purpose. The main employment sectors are port logistics, chemicals, healthcare and retail. The University of Hull adds an academic presence. The employment market is not as large or diverse as Leeds or Sheffield, which are both over an hour away by car or train. For remote workers and retirees, this geography is irrelevant. For people who need a dense local labour market, it is a genuine consideration. Hull consistently surprises people who visit it expecting post-industrial decline and find instead a city that has done something genuinely interesting with its assets. The waterfront, the independent retail culture, the civic pride, while maintaining house prices that feel like they belong to a different country than London's garage listings. Number 5. Burnley, Lancashire. Burnley is the cheapest place to buy a home in England. Not in Lancashire, not in the northwest, in all of England. The ONS UK House Price Index confirmed this in the August 2025 England report. The average property in Burnley costs £126,000, according to that data, with provisional October 2025 figures from the ONS Local Housing Dashboard showing £131,000. The most expensive area in England for the same period is Kensington and Chelsea at £1.3 million. The gap between England's most expensive and England's cheapest is not a housing market. It is two different countries occupying the same island. What you get for the money, a four-bedroom terraced house in Burnley, the classic Lancashire Milltown terrace with original features, bay windows, good-sized rooms, can be bought for £90,000 to £130,000. These are not derelict properties requiring renovation. These are inhabited, habitable, sold and lived-in family homes that cost less than a second-hand car in some parts of the country. Semi-detached four-bedroom properties in the better Burnley postcodes, B-10, B-11 in Hapton and Padiham are regularly listed and sold in the £130,000 to £180,000 range. The Notting Hill garage at £295,000 costs more than two of these houses. Burnley's regeneration story. Burnley received Levelling Up funding and has been actively investing in its town centre and housing stock. The M65 motorway connects to the national network. Manchester is 26 miles south. Leeds is 30 miles east. The Pennines are visible from most of the town. The Townley Park estate, 100 acres of parkland and a 15th century hall within the borough boundary, is genuinely extraordinary. The annual Burnley Blues Festival attracts artists and audiences from across the country. These are not the facts about Burnley that get reported nationally. The honest picture: Burnley has faced significant economic challenges since the textile industry collapsed in the second half of the 20th century. Unemployment rates are above the national average. Parts of the town have genuine deprivation that the house prices reflect. The house prices are not low because of a secret. They are low because the local economy has not fully recovered from decades of industrial decline. That is a real issue for people whose income depends on the local job market. What the data also shows, Burnley's house prices rose 7.6% in the year to October 2025, outpacing the Northwest average of 3.1%. The town, that is England's cheapest, is also one of its fastest growing property markets. The buyers arriving are predominantly remote workers, retirees, and investors from Manchester and Leeds who have looked at the numbers and made a decision. Number 4. Hartlepool, County Durham. Hartlepool sits on the North Sea coast of County Durham, a town of around 93,000 people with a medieval borough, a marina, a waterfront that has been regenerated over the past 2 decades, and house prices that the ONS recorded at an average of £132,000 for September 2025. Zoopla's affordability analysis of English coastal towns ranked Hartlepool as the most affordable coastal town in England to buy a home, with an affordability ratio of 1.67, meaning the average couple in Hartlepool spends just 1.67 times their combined annual salary to buy the average home. The national coastal average is significantly higher. The 4-bedroom coastal house, Rightmove sold data for Hartlepool shows detached properties averaging around £285,000 in the past year, and semi-detached properties averaging around £158,000. A 4-bedroom detached house with a garden in Hartlepool's better residential postcodes, Hart Village, Elwick, the residential areas near the headland, can be found in the £200,000 to £260,000 range. 4-bedroom semi-detached properties are routinely available under £180,000. By coastal standards, anywhere else in England, these prices do not exist. They exist here. What Hartlepool offers that money cannot add: the headland, the original medieval settlement, fortified with a 13th century church and streets that have not fundamentally changed in centuries. Teesmouth National Nature Reserve, the Marina, the Museum of Hartlepool, which contains HMS Trincomalee, the oldest warship still afloat in the UK. The town was bombed by the German Imperial Navy in December 1914, making it one of the first British towns to be directly shelled in the First World War. The history is not a performance. It is physically present in the streets. Number 3. Bradford, West Yorkshire. Bradford is the UK City of Culture for 2025. This is not a historical designation or a local boast. It is an active, funded, national programme bringing arts investment, cultural events and national media attention to a West Yorkshire city of 540,000 people that has been significantly underestimated for decades. The ONS UK House Price Index for November 2025 records the average house price in Bradford at £187,000, which is £84,000 below the UK average and puts a 4-bedroom family home within reach of a budget that in London would not secure a studio flat. The 4-bedroom Bradford house, Rightmove sold data for Bradford shows semi-detached properties averaging around £184,715 across the borough last year. Detached properties averaged higher. In Bradford's better residential postcodes, Shipley, Baildon, Bingley, Ilkley in the Bradford district, Heaton, Eccleshill. 4-bedroom semi-detached and detached properties regularly come to market in the £200,000 to £280,000 range. In some inner Bradford postcodes, 4-bedroom terraced properties sell for significantly less. Number 2. Rochdale, Greater Manchester. Rochdale sits in Greater Manchester, 12 miles north of Manchester city centre, connected by the Metrolink tram system on the M62 motorway corridor that links Liverpool to Leeds. The ONS housing data places Rochdale's average house prices consistently in the £150,000 to £170,000 range across recent quarters. The average house price in Greater Manchester as a whole is significantly higher, pushed up by the inner city and southern suburbs. Rochdale is the edge of that market, close enough to benefit from Manchester's economy, cheap enough to still feel like a different world. The 4-bedroom Metrolink equation. 4-bedroom semi-detached houses in the better Rochdale postcodes, Norden, Bamford, Milnrow, Littleborough, are regularly available in the £180,000 to £250,000 range. From these homes, the Metrolink provides a direct tram journey into Manchester city centre in 35 to 45 minutes. The same money that buys one of those 4-bedroom family homes in Rochdale buys a studio flat in Manchester city centre, or approximately 1/3 of the deposit required for a 1-bedroom flat in East London. What Rochdale has that the house price does not reflect: Hollingworth Lake, a 120-acre sailing and leisure reservoir created as a feeder for the Rochdale Canal, surrounded by walking paths and with a water sports centre. The Rochdale Canal itself, which connects Manchester to the Yorkshire waterways network and is one of the most complete canal restoration projects in England. Rochdale Town Hall, Rochdale, which is widely considered the finest Victorian Gothic building in England, a claim that sounds like local boasting until you stand in front of it. And Gracie Fields, who was born here and whose former home is marked by a blue plaque on a street in a town that the rest of England has consistently underestimated. The honest Rochdale picture, like many Greater Manchester satellite towns, Rochdale's town centre has struggled since the retail revolution of the 1990s moved spending to out-of-town retail parks. Parts of the borough have high deprivation. The Metrolink, which was extended to Rochdale in 2012, has been transformative for accessibility, but has not fully offset the town centre decline. The value case rests on the commuter equation: Manchester employment at Rochdale prices, rather than on Rochdale itself as an employment centre. Number 1. Saltcoats, North Ayrshire. 2 facts. Same data set, same town. Rightmove's July 2025. Analysis of over 200 coastal areas across Great Britain found Saltcoats, North Ayrshire, to be the cheapest coastal town in the entire country. Average asking price £122,208. The same analysis recorded Saltcoats as the fastest growing coastal market they tracked, 13% in a single year. The national average for coastal asking prices fell 1% in the same period. Cheapest, fastest growing. Same town, same report. Saltcoats sits on the Ayrshire coast, 32 miles southwest of Glasgow. Victorian sandstone streets. A sandy beach facing a rant. On clear days, the mountains are visible from the seafront. There's a cinema, restaurants, a bowling alley, coffee shops, and the town has functioned as a seaside destination since the 1880s, and the infrastructure built then is still standing. The train to Glasgow Central takes 47 minutes. Agents at Glow Homes report growing numbers of young Glasgow buyers making that commute in exchange for a coastal home at a price Glasgow cannot offer in any form. Rightmove's Colleen Babcock stated directly in the July 2025 report, 10 towns, 10 sets of numbers from HM Land Registry and the ONS, all verified, all real, all current as of late 2025. None of them require you to move, all of them require you to know they exist. The north-south property divide is not a new story, but the garage listings, those are new. The fact that you can go on the market right now and find multiple London garages listed at prices that buy the smart money is already there. You should know which towns those are.